Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I like to talk about anxiety, specifically health anxiety, and how through doing inner healing work, which consists of a ton of questions that do help you understand where it's coming from, what your triggers are, what's causing your panic attacks, and all of that wonderful stuff actually come from. So if this is something that may be of interest to you, please consider liking, subscribing, the little bell, leaving me a comment, any of those wonderful things. It does help my little channel grow. And yeah, with that being said, let's get right into today's video. Today's topic is driving anxiety. So before we get into driving anxiety itself, I just wanted to touch base on something. I've noticed I have had like a few people reach out and a few people in the comments of other videos ask if these videos are supposed to be encouraging. While these videos are supposed to be encouraging for you to maybe see somebody else that has gone through it actually get out of it, it's not necessarily what I want my channel to be about. My channel is more thought-provoking, giving you these questions so that you can really get to the bottom of what is causing your specific type of anxiety or panic attacks or things of that nature. It's so easy to look at these videos that have these inspirational quotes we've all heard and these hopeful messages of whatever guru said something. Those didn't help me personally, not at all, okay? It makes you feel great for about 6 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're still back in that dark spot. So what I'm trying to do here is literally inner healing. We want you to get to know yourself at the deepest of deepest levels, and it'll help you understand where these things are coming from so that you can better live with and heal from your specific anxiety. All right, so today we're going to talk about driving anxiety. And I know there's a lot of people that have this, a lot of people that are terrified of driving. I was one of them, absolutely terrified. I couldn't even drive from here to the corner store. Like it was pretty bad for me. Now I wanted to do this video in the car, but then I realized I'm going to pull over anyway and just sit in the car. I'm not going to drive and talk to the camera. I'm not a professional YouTuber in any way. And I'm a safe driver, right? So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this one at home. And I'm going to give you the tips and tricks of what I do and what I did and what I technically still do in the car. That's I've been able to pretty much drive on my own, be it an hour away from home or a minute away from home. If you were able to see any of my previous videos, specifically this one right here, I think I'm going to put it here, which is my first panic attack. My first panic attack happened in a car. So that's where my driving anxiety actually comes from. Took me a while to actually realize that, again, through the questions that I like to ask. But because it happened in a car, let me tell you, I was petrified of driving by myself. I was afraid another panic attack would hit me. I was afraid a heart attack would hit me because, of course, I have health anxiety, or I'm recovering from health anxiety. You couldn't get me in a car by myself. Like, there was no way. Like, someone would have to drive me to wherever it was that I needed to go. Now, this for me started happening again back in 2008, and it did take a long time for me to be able to drive places on my own. There were times where I remember just, having to drive because you got to go to work, right? You got things to do. Like if I needed to go to a store, that's one thing, but you need to get to work. Like you're going to have to drive by yourself. You're going to have to figure it out. You got to get to work somehow. My husband works, so he wasn't going to be able to drive me to work and pick me up and all that stuff if he has his own hours that he was working at the time. What made it worse for me, I think, was when I got my first panic attack, I was actually a passenger in the car. So it wasn't that I was driving at the time, but I was a passenger. After that, I just couldn't, for the life of me, get out of my head, this is going to happen to me again. So I knew that being in the car for me was a trigger because it happened to me the first time in the car. It was the scariest thing I've probably ever been through. Oh my God, is this going to happen again? And if it does, what if I'm by myself? I lived with this thought for so flipping long that I'm telling you, terrified, can't go anywhere, not even close. So I started to, and I did figure these out by myself. Again, in 2008, this topic wasn't really big on YouTube, and I didn't know anybody else that was really going through it. So I kind of figured these little things out by myself. And of course, I want to share them with you if you do have driving anxiety, to help you navigate and just be able to, again, just go places by yourself, baby steps, okay? It's really important, and I know that other people have talked about it. Exposure when it comes to health anxiety or any anxiety in general is really important. Like, you have to put yourself out there and put yourself in certain situations that may trigger you, because you need to be able to let go of that fear that you have that this is going to happen again. So does the thought of this drive you absolutely insane? You are completely petrified. I live in a city where traffic is so heavy. It's like, it doesn't matter. You can be going 12 miles down the street, and 12 miles down the street is literally going to take you an hour, making it worse. If you live in a small town where it's small roads or short roads, it's not like a big old metropolitan area, then, I mean, you're still going to have your driving anxiety, but I don't think it's as bad as being completely trapped in traffic. One of the things that for me was really hard was the thought of me being trapped in traffic. I'm going to have a panic attack. There's no way out. How is this going to work for me? When you're driving on the highway or you're stuck in traffic, what I used to like to do, and I think now at this point, I just do it all the time because I'm used to it, but I can now get in the center lane. I would either drive all the way to the right or all the way to the left. Now, the reason for that is because being in traffic is you're going to feel very like, get me out of here. What if something happens? But when you sit there and you either go all the way to the left, right? There's a shoulder on this side. You go all the way to the right. There's a shoulder on that side, or an exit. You feel like your brain calms down because there's a way out. So you tell yourself, okay, if I'm going to have a panic attack, I can just pull over to the left. I could just pull over to the right. That did a lot for me because, again, at first, for whatever reason, that thought never occurred to me. I was just driving, trying to get off of this highway as fast as possible. But then one day it did occur to me. Let me try it this way. Let me maybe go all the way to the left. And that calmed me down a lot because it was that reassurance that I was looking for, where I can say, okay, if I'm starting to get panicky, we're just going to go ahead and pull over right there real quick, breathe it out, maybe call someone and have them talk you through it, but we're going to be okay. For whatever reason, because I'd never done it before, for whatever reason, I always carried around, and I know some of you guys are going to relate to this, water in the car. To this day, I still can't quite explain why I needed water, like bottled water in the car. It wasn't soda, it wasn't juice. For whatever reason, it needed to be a bottle of water. We're going to blame that on the OCD part of things, but my car was full with empty water bottles. Hilarious, okay? Nowadays, this is what I got. This is what I drink. It's pineapple water. It's infused pineapple water. If you don't know that, this has so many benefits. If you don't know the benefits of these, feel free to look for a YouTube video, but these are the best. So, or that combination of water and pineapple is the best. So it wasn't so much that I needed a drink. Again, for whatever reason, it was bottled water. I have moved past from that. Now I can have my, this water, a soda, a juice. Well, I don't drink soda, but juice or coffee. Coffee is another thing. I know they tell you don't drink coffee. It'll make you like this. Just don't drink that strong Cuban coffee. Like maybe have a flavored coffee or something, right? Don't let go of the things you love, because I know a lot of us love coffee. Don't let go of that simply because you're scared. I did that. I stopped drinking coffee for about a year, and guess what? I still had panic attacks. So have a drink nearby. If you're not into water or flavored water, have a drink nearby. I think it serves as a distraction, right? It's there. It's like a little comfort, a little something of comfort, I guess is the best way I can explain that. I also have gum at all times. There is gum in the car at all times. Why is there gum in the car? I don't chew gum, okay? Once in a while I will. I'm not a big gum chewer, but I found that for me, anytime my mind wanted to start wandering over into, oh my God, I'm gonna have a panic attack, you reach for a piece of gum, start chewing. It's gonna distract you. So I found that, as silly as it sounds, yeah, gum kind of helped me just think of something else, maybe the chewing, other than what was going on inside this little brain of mine. A big one for me that took me a really long time to realize that it was that was affecting me quite a bit is don't listen to music. It's a big no-no. I'm gonna tell you why. Just when you're driving, right? You don't think about anything. Like and don't kill me. I don't know how to say this word half the time, but you unconsciously, you don't think about your actions when you're driving. It's like this mechanical autopilot thing where you just know what you're doing as you're driving. So it's kind of the same thing with music. I know you have your favorite music. I have my favorite playlist. Feel free to make fun of my playlist. Mine is literally called Like the Radio in My Head, okay? My playlist consists of, we can go from the Bee Gees to Metallica to Bad Bunny to Madonna, right? My playlist is all sorts of music that I love as if it was technically a radio station. The problem with music that I found for me is that music can make you feel a certain type of way. There are happy songs, there's sad songs, there are all these things, right? Music can make you feel a certain type of way. If you're driving away and all of a sudden you hear a song that maybe takes you to a place, it takes you to a person, it takes you to a bad memory, now your brain is going to start, you're going to start thinking these either sad thoughts, or maybe you had a panic attack one time where a specific song was playing and now you're listening to this song, so that memory comes back. Now you're freaking out. Don't listen to music. I know. It can be painful. What I do suggest that you listen to is actually audiobooks. I listen to self-help books especially when I have to go on long drives, because it's not music. Music, you know the song. You're going to sing it. You've heard the song a million times. So you're not really paying attention. You're just, as with driving, you're just listening to this song. You're just whatever. But when it comes to an audiobook, that actually requires you to listen to what the story is, especially if it's a book you've never heard before. You're more focused on what the person in this audiobook is saying than you are of your own brain thinking about things it doesn't need to. But when it comes to the audiobooks, you literally are just focusing on the words that the person is saying, or what you're trying to learn, or the story they're trying to tell. No music. I know it's painful, but we're trying to get you to drive by yourself. Trust me on this. So I don't want to make this video too long, because I know I always say that and somehow we still end up with a pretty long video. But those are like the main small things and changes and stuff that I did to be able to just completely drive by myself. I know how you're feeling, right? You feel perfectly normal when you're at home. Everything is fine. All is good in the world when you're home. And it's like all of a sudden you get in your freaking car and your heart starts to race and your brain is like, I'm going to die today. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have a heart attack. This is going to happen. Your mind starts to completely race. So remember, okay, left lane, all the way to the left, all the way to the right. It's going to serve as reassurance that if you do feel trapped or you feel a panic attack coming on, that you can safely remove yourself. For me, for a long time, all I cared about was not hurting anybody else on the road. Like, I didn't want to be driving and then get a complete panic attack and hurt somebody else. So again, left or right. Even if you're going 80 miles per hour and you feel something coming, you can go left, you can go right, slow down, stop. All right. Don't forget water. If water or a drink, for me, for whatever reason, it was bottles of water. I've moved past that. If just having a drink in general is going to be good for you, then have whatever drink in general all the time in the car, if that is of comfort to you. Gum. Left lane turns for me. I know I didn't touch on that in this video too much. Turning left was a freaking nightmare for me. I know that you feel trapped, right? You're waiting till the light turns. You're waiting for somebody to make their turn so you can go. God forbid the light turn red on you a second time, because now you're going to panic. Well, grab a piece of gum. Chew your gum. Be distracted by the gum. Trust me, it works, okay? Music. Try it for about 21 days. So there's an old saying that says when you try something for 21 days, after the 21 days, it actually becomes a habit. Try no music. We don't want you to feel any type of way, all right? Or thinking about things you don't need to be thinking about. No music, 21 days. Find an audiobook, be it a story. I personally like the self-help books. Whatever it is you're into, listen to someone talking. Just listen to someone talking, a story you've never really heard before, be it a podcast, whatever. That is going to serve you much better while you're driving than actual music will. Okay? And as always, I like to leave you guys with a question or a series of questions, but I know that this video may have run a little bit too long. I won't know till I edit it. And yeah, so we're just going to stick to one question this week that I really want you guys to focus on and think about and answer it as honestly as possible. Yes, I wrote it down because it's a long one. So if you could change one thing about your life right now, what would you change? So I know that most of you are going to say, well, get rid of this damn anxiety. It's driving me nuts. But we already know that that's an issue or something you're living with. Let's get that out of the equation, all right? Because we're working on it. We're working on it, all right? So again, if you could change one thing about your life right now, aside from your anxiety, health anxiety, panic attacks, and all of that, what would you change? How would that look like for you? So yeah. Thank you guys, as always, for spending some time with me. I hope that you took something from this video or it helps you, maybe even one of the tips in any way. If it was helpful in any way, please consider liking and following or not following, subscribing, the little bell, maybe leaving me a comment, even if it is a silly one. I had this person right here. I'm not gonna... very nice way to tell me I was chubby. So any comment is welcomed. It's all right. So yeah, thank you guys for stopping by, and I hope to see you next week. I will try to come up with more questions for you. And next week, I probably want to touch base on irrational thoughts. Those irrational thoughts, they're terrible. Nobody likes them. But unfortunately, us sufferers, we do get them, and they can lead you and take you to some pretty dark places. So again, thank you guys for stopping by, and till next time, everybody.